Hey, I'm Steve Bugeja. I'm a stand-up comedian, comedy writer. I've been stand-up for about 10 years. I started at university and it's my job. I'm very fortunate and I get to sort of travel the world doing gigs, and I go up to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival every year and do a new show. I've just been previewing my 5th show here in my hometown of Bishop Stortford, and I sort of write for various TV shows and other comedians for bits and bobs. And I'm just hoping to keep doing this for a living, really. So I think creativity it can be so powerful to help you deal with any issues you're having, or just like sort of mind niggles or whatever it is, because I think by being creative, you can, particularly with comedy, obviously that's all I can talk about, is, when I make something funny, it makes it less painful. So if there's anything that hurts, or if there's something that I'm struggling to deal with, if I can turn that into a story or a routine, then it helps me to process it. And hopefully by sharing on stage and by talking about whatever the issue is, I can maybe help someone else. Like maybe someone in the crowd might be like, oh, that's a nicer way of looking at it. Or, if you can laugh at the issue, then maybe they'll feel less alone, or maybe more able to talk about it. Because I think I've just learned, I guess I've become quite trained to talk about my feelings on stage, because it did feel weird initially. Like when I started out doing stand-up, it felt very odd to say anything kind of personal on stage. I would kind of hide behind a mask and wouldn't really give anything away personal. But as I've progressed, now I'm a bit more honest on stage, and I talk about things that matter to me and like that hurts, and hopefully it resonates with people in the audience. But I think that takes a while to get used to that. So I imagine if someone, obviously most people don't feel the need to go on stage and talk about themselves. So, the idea of talking about your feelings is quite alien, particularly to men. We're sort of trained not to do it from quite a young age. So hopefully that's starting to change, and I feel that, the way I talk about it on stage definitely helps me. I mean, like any job, my creative job is no different, really. It can have a negative and positive impact on my mental well-being. I work quite a lot. So, for example, in May, this past May, I didn't take a day off. So I did feel quite mentally exhausted at the end of that. And I'm quite bad at structuring my time and giving myself days off, because being self-employed, you feel like you should work all the time. So sometimes mentally it's bad being a stand-up, because there's a lot of travelling, a lot of time on your own. There's also, it's very competitive. There's a lot of you can get jealous of other people who may be doing better than you, or you sort of wonder why you're not getting something that you think you deserve, and that kind of it can be quite negative. It's quite a negative thought process. So I try and get out of that as quickly as possible and try and focus on the positives, and just because I'm aware how lucky I am, and generally I'm quite a happy person. But yeah, I definitely get caught in negative spirals, and I've been going to therapy recently to try and help me with that, and it does help. It's amazing to talk about those things, because it puts things in perspective, because once you sort of zoom out and you realise that this really small thing that I've been worried about, and it might have ruined an hour of a day, once you zoom out a bit, you go, oh, actually this week's been great, or last week I did this really cool thing. And once you put it in context and give yourself perspective, nothing seemed as bad. So, but equally, the job also gives me some positive mental stuff, because I feel, I get to do some amazing, I'm very lucky, I get to do some amazing gigs and have some amazing experiences, which make me very happy. So I guess it's both. Yeah. I think Retune is amazing. Tom is my mate from school, and I know he's talked about some of the issues he's had with his mental health. And I just think it's so important for men in particular, but just everyone, to be talking about our mental well-being so much more, because it's crazy that we would talk about our physical illness quite easily, but not our mental illness. And we all have it. And once you sort of just admit that, once we all admit that we have mental glitches or bad days and good days, it kind of makes it easier to talk about, hopefully. And I think Retune has got a really great ethos behind it. I think using creativity to unlock some of those conversations is really powerful, and music is such an important expression of creativity and pain, and I think hopefully it will make people more open to talk about it, and I was pleased to play a small part in it in today's show. I think it's great if just Retune keep doing more events and just getting more people along, because the more people that see people openly talk about their mental health on stage, the more normal it becomes, the more normalised that becomes, and then hopefully that will just sort of disperse through society, and you know, slowly we will change. And I think it is changing. You can feel it in society. People are much more open about talking about their mental health, and hopefully, you know, if you can do more events like this one, then you know, more people will do it.